folk, welcome back. So as you can probably guess from the huge case behind me here, we're going to be doing another blind box BJD opening today. Technically speaking, this is the Past in Sicily series, and this is like an MJD, technically not a proper BJD. There's a very strong chance that throughout this video I'm going to use BJD just because like that's what I'm used to saying. So right up off the bat here, these are MJDs. I just can't speak sometimes. But yeah, this is, like I said, the Past in Sicily series. Kikagoods was kind enough to send me this case of 4 dolls for free. So huge shout out, huge thank you to Kikagoods. But as per usual, I'm not sponsored by them. Like this was a gift, but I'm not being paid to like say or not say anything. So everything I think about these, you're going to hear all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if I dip out of here and kind of just awkwardly point, you can see the different characters. So the first 4 here are all of the like, normal common ones. Hi, Miss Weiss. Goodness me, you're so much bigger in this form. Hi. That's actually the cutest thing I've ever seen. But this one here is the secret. So we're probably not going to get that one. That does hurt. I do really, really like that one. He's like a little priest, so of course I like it. Maybe we'll get lucky, but I'm not gonna count on it. But yeah, we're gonna be unboxing the case today. I do want to show you. Reese, can I? Yeah, I'll just be over here petting you. This is the top with some art on it, and I think this case is like so pretty. Like just the art alone is so nice. But yes, so we have all 4. We're going to be unboxing them and going into the details and everything today. These do retail for $28.99, I believe the price was. So we will also be answering the question, would I advise you to spend that? And we'll figure that out by the end of the video. So I'm going to move this whole huge honkin' case off of the desk here. We're going to look at one of the blind boxes. We'll go ahead and like open up on camera. Y'all know the drill. We open one together, kind of put it together so you can get a sense of what it would be like to open one of these yourself. And then all the other ones I'm just going to do off camera so that I don't end up boring you. But we're still going to talk about their details and everything like that. So let me get out of here and rearrange some things, and I will be right back. If you're out over at kikagoods to get these dolls or anything else, don't forget to use code FAIRYTALE10 to get 10% off. This is not an affiliate code. It's just like a little thank you for watching my videos about them. So here is one of the individual boxes. So like if you don't order the entire case pack, which that's completely fair, this is what will show up if you just order one. On the front here, more absolutely gorgeous art. And then on the side, you can see a little bit better the different options here. So Eduardo, Luciano, Frederico, I hope I'm saying these right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. Marcelo, and then Michaela. Michaela? Is that Mike? The only way I can think to pronounce it is Michaela. I'm again really sorry if I'm wrong. But then he is the hidden 1 out of 72. So again, chances are no, but like maybe we'll get lucky. The back of the box just has warnings and all of that jazz. So let's go ahead and open the first one up. There's like a little. Oh, okay. It's like a very tiny, neat little pull tab. Oh, okay. So this one is this yellow-haired boy, which is my husband's favorite, which is super funny because I think this actually might be, ta-da, nothing even fell. That's incredible. I think this might be the second time in a row that I've opened a set, and the first one that I get is my husband's favorite. So this is like the initial situation with him, and then we get, some papers and stuff, and then the clothes are packaged separately. So let me start opening some of this up. I don't think we need this. We're gonna just put that off to the side. Do we have tape? No, there was no tape. So up top, we'll just go ahead and look at his extra hands first, if I can gather them all out. So it looks like he has a decent amount of poses here. There's this one that's sort of like a almost resting pose, sort of like half curled. That one's nice. I think that one feels very natural. Then we have a peace sign. Another peace sign here. There might be 2 of each. We're going to find out, obviously. Okay, yeah, here's our second, like, resting hand pose. Okay, yes, so it is 2 of each, so I'm not going to, like, show you all of them because that's sort of silly. We have a middle finger if you want him to be sassy. And then we have these that are sort of like a gripping hand. He does come with a staff, so I can see where the gripping hand could be pretty useful, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm just gonna go ahead and recollect those and stick them back in. Let's go ahead and pull out the doll himself really quick. This one is fascinating to me because he's like so much smaller in like chunkiness, I guess. Like most of even the same scale of doll that I get from kikagoods, I feel like they're kind of chunky and they're sort of more like anime. They're sort of more stylized. Not to say that this isn't stylized, but specifically with the bodies, I feel like the bodies tend to be significantly less realistic, whereas this one's like pretty solid, honestly. So when it comes to the articulation, let's get into that and then we'll get into like the looks. So the head has like tilt and a full 360. The tilt isn't like, can't go up a whole lot, but he can tilt down pretty decently, which is cool. The arms can go out to that far, so not like a straight up, but like I feel like that's pretty chill. We can go, it looks like all the way around, and then we have the elbow joint. That's a good elbow joint. Wow. That's really, like it's like a double. That's really solid. And then the wrist can go back and forth and also rotate. All very impressive thus far. The chest joint here, I mean, like you can rotate it all the way around if you want to. And then there is a good degree of tilt, I feel like, to the sides. And then if we go, so not a ton forward and pretty much nothing backwards, but it's still not too shabby. When it comes to the hips, we cannot pull the legs out. Like that's as far as he can go in terms of like width. He can go to about 90 degrees forward and like basically not back at all because of the confines of how the joint is. So this is like, as I said, an MJD as opposed to a proper BJD, which is why some of the motion is a little bit more restricted. That's like a personal preference thing. I have realized since I got the Heiwan 4 Moon series, I think that was the last one that I unboxed on the channel. That was a heinous experience. Like those dolls were so difficult to put together. But that being said, they are so much sturdier than any other blind box doll that I've gotten. And I've grown to really like prefer, just from that one experience, the MJDs, even though it was so hard to dress them and everything, because I don't know, I like that they feel easier to pose and more sturdy and like they don't fall as easily for me. So like for me, I'm fine with the more limited mobility, but I did just want to like address that. Like that's like an MJD thing. Obviously, like an actual proper BJD tends to have more articulation. The leg, though, the knee joint, that's a hell of a knee joint. There's no like, I guess there's rotation in the hip, so you can get like a kind of leg out pose like that. That's nice. And then he has, so this is so interesting. He's got rotational ankle articulation as well as like a bend, right? His toes are articulated. You can make that man grip with his toes. And I mean, it's both awful and hilarious. You can also make him like really be like tiptoeing. I've never seen that on a doll before, and I do find it quite interesting. I can't say that it's like something I would ever think is necessary, and I probably won't even use it, but it's interesting. Very musculature, very musculature. That's wow. Very muscular sculpting here on especially like the chest. Like the arms, you get like a little bit of the beef, but it's mostly in like the chest and on the back and then like on the abdomen there. Then we can go ahead and look at the head. So his hair looks like it comes apart. Yes. So as with like the styles that I'm used to for blind box BJDs, the hair does come in half like this, so you can like switch it out if you'd like. This one was very secure. And I really appreciate that because, like, listen, the amount of times that I've had the hair just like fall apart, it can get a little frustrating. So I like that that one felt quite secure. He still does have inset eyes. There we go. Which I think is extremely impressive because, like, this is a really tiny head. I'm actually going to go grab one of the Heiwan 4 Moons. That's probably the one I'll grab so I can show you what I mean about, like, the scale being so drastically different in a second here. But he has like these really nice pale eyes, sort of a neutral expression, and then this gorgeous gradient hair where it's like the light yellow to the super like orangey sort of color. Very, very pretty. I said, like I said, this is my husband's favorite one, and he wants this one. He said this one has to go in my game room. And I was like, okay, I don't think I really am loving that one so much, but oopsies, I do kind of like him a lot more out of box. I mean, I haven't even put his clothes on, but I already like him a lot more out of box than I did just as an image. But I promised this one's going to be for Tony, but I do want to grab, like I said, another doll for comparison. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I need to just like move some of the stuff out of the way. So this is what I mean. Like these are the same height, but this doll is so much chunkier and almost more like chibier and just bigger in general. So that's why I'm like, this is an obscenely small scale. This is a very, very tiny little head, and I feel like the eyes are so much more impressive for that. I guess I could have pulled the faceplate off to, yeah, look at that. That's so cool. Like, I'm genuinely deeply impressed. Ooh, I liked that click. Again, it feels secure. I want to also grab one moment. So I just wanted to also grab a Barbie because out of my collection up until now, Barbie has the smallest head. That's how tiny this doll is. Actually, let's I don't even think Barbie is like, oh, she's barely in frame. Erica's barely in frame there. But like that's how small he is. And like I don't know, I just find the scale quite fascinating. But that's enough of the comparisons. Let me actually focus on the doll that we're supposed to be focusing on. You know what's crazy is I told myself in my head, hey, this is only 4 dolls and your kikagoods videos always last forever. Let's try to make it a little shorter. Extending the runtime, whatever. I'm gonna put these 2 back and probably like pre-open some of this stuff and then we'll talk about it all. Okay, I'm back. I've, unplasticed everything and we've got a slightly different camera angle just to like try to show you because he's so tiny, like so small. Anyway, this little tool, I did forget to share. This was packaged with the hands. If you see that, he had the same thing on the inside of his eyes. So I imagine this is like used to remove the eyes if you want to change them out, which is super nice that they do include the tool for you. But when it comes to his other things, we do get, of course, the character card. This one came a little bent, which is a little sad, but got some character art on there, which is always, I just always love to see these. I think that it's quite fun. Then we have the shirt here. It feels quite nice. There's like a lot of detail running down the front. Like this is all, extra detail that had to be sewn. The sleeves are a little poofy, opens up the back with Velcro. This piece I find extremely impressive. It's like, what do you even call this? Like a little neck ruff. Like that's really, really nice. The actual metallic to it. Like I do believe that this is, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Holy shit. This is like cool to the touch. I think this is actually metal. That's bonkers. And then like all the gems, the pearls on the string, the bow, like this this level of detail, y'all. It's so impressive. Here is the cane that I mentioned he came with. So it's sort of like a gold to a black gradient, which I do think is quite pretty. This is another series where they're like optionally animals. Like they can, have a human appearance or they can be sort of more animalistic. I believe they're all forms of dogs. So here are his little magnetic ears. Let's go ahead and see how those... Oh, they're very high up on the head. Is this the wrong side though? Okay, yeah, I had the wrong side. I was like, that looks a little goofy. I don't know if that looks any better. They're really high up. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the hat. I don't know if the hat is... I don't know if it's possible to wear the hat and also have the ears. But like, I feel like they should be further down, just a little. Maybe if you forward face them, that's less bizarro. Is it still the wrong? Okay, I think that's it. I think that looks the least strange. So we're just gonna go with that. The other animalistic feature that he can have is this tail with just like an elastic, so you can just loop it around his waist. I kind of showed the hat, but here's his little hat, which I don't think is gonna work with the ears, but we'll find out. Top that off. Like in the art, it's sort of perched. Obviously, the art can be very different from reality, but we might try that. Then he's got just some plain black boots. They are like significantly squishier than I'm used to feeling for doll shoes, but I actually really appreciate that given the fact that he has extra articulation in his feet. I feel like this could be really difficult really fast to get like shoes on. So I like that they're squishier because I think that might make it a little bit easier. And then lastly are his pants. Again, we've got like some extra pleating and stuff done in there for little studs on the front to be like buttons. Very nice stuff. I'm already impressed with the quality. I'm going to go ahead and go off camera real quick to get him dressed and everything, and then we will talk about him, I think, is the order that we're going to go in. We'll go ahead and like talk about him, and then I'll go ahead and unbox and dress all the other three off camera and then show you those. And that's the agenda for today's video. Does it matter because it's just about to play for you? No, but I don't know. I said it. Anyway, give me 2 seconds. Alrighty, so we have our lad all dressed. I, first off, cannot believe that I didn't realize this. There's a magnet in the hat also. So his hat will stay on. And I think that is honestly just such an exceptional design. Because like with the ears and with the hat, and even just with the hat and like with the sculpted hair, I feel like it could be hard for a hat to stay where it needs to stay. So the magnet is like genius. I'm trying to like, is he arranged correctly? There we go. That's about right. I think he was right. Like I really do appreciate that, especially since I have had blind box dolls before where the hat like won't stay on because it's not like magnetized. To be fair, like a lot of those hats are fabric, but like it wasn't arranged right with the head, like it wasn't the right scale or something. So I really do appreciate that he can very easily keep his hat on. This looks incredible. Like that's just genuinely unreal. I will say I think that the shirt is really, really high quality. And I mean, you can kind of see on the cuffs here, maybe, there we go, that they're like folded over. They're like a double layer of fabric, right? The, nice. The collar is like that too. It does make it look a little bit chunky at the neck, I guess. Let me give him his hat back so he can be respectable. There you go, big boy. But like, I don't know. I feel like I appreciate the quality, even if it is like a tiny, tiny bit chunky up there. I still think he looks really quite solid. The pants, they're high-waisted, and the Velcro is just like this tiny piece here, and there's a really like decent hole here, which normally I think would be bad, but it's specifically so that his tail can fit in there, so that the tail can like be coming out of the pants. And it looks very natural and it fits very clean. It's not like bulking anything up. I thought that was excellent. I also was correct. The shoes, super, super easy to get on, even despite the feet being weird. And like, did you see that? That took nothing at all. And then I just like slip his little booty in here. It's going to be harder now because I'm trying to do it on camera. Slip his little booty in there. See? Like that was really, really nice because sometimes that can feel like a scary event. And it's like, oh, I'm going to break the ankle joint. I'm going to pull the whole foot off. But that was so nice and simple. I feel like this looks so good. Like I keep knocking his hat off and I feel actually so bad. Whatever. It's fine. I just keep messing that up for him. But we're off to a very, very impressive start. I don't know yet what hands my husband wants to have on him, so I didn't like change it because I didn't, you know, I didn't want to change it and then have to change it again. I did have to take the hands off in order to get the shirt on, and it did take some effort, but my little hands are weak. It wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't undoable. It just like you kind of had to give a good yank for it. Definitely significantly better than the Heiwan 4 Moons. Like I said, again, I love those dolls. I think they were really beautiful. I'm so happy I have them. They were a pain in the ass to put together. This the hands were not even close on the same level in terms of like ease to remove. Like this was so much easier. So that was super nice. I'm gonna try to get his hat back on. There you go, bud. But yes, so that is our first little lad. There we go. Get you to hold the cane. Like I said, Tony, it's not gonna happen. He might want him to like have the grip so that he can grip the cane. I didn't want to fiddle around with it and have to do it multiple times because even though the hands were easier to take off, my hands still hurt. So yeah, he's not holding it, but you can sort of get the picture. So that was our first of 4. Let's go ahead and unbox all the other 3. Like I said, those I'm not going to do like on camera. I'm just going to rip the tabs and then we will show you what we've got. Okay, it is in fact the next day for me. Obviously that Still doesn't matter for you guys, but I've got everyone unboxed and dressed. We've got some good things to go over, some not so good things to go over. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. The next character, the next doll that we're going to be looking at is Luciano. Here is his card. I still love the art. I think the art is really good. He does come with this one piece that I didn't leave on the doll because this is like his faux fur boa, and it just like really makes it hard to see the rest of the stuff that I wanted to be able to show you the details on. So like we're just looking at this separately. It's pretty basic. It's faux fur. It does have a wire inside so you can pose it and shape it however you need it to. So you can like make it lay however you want, which is super nice. But like I said, it just sort of blocks off a lot of the rest of the stuff. So I just thought it'd be easier if we could look at him without that on there. But to look at his face, he does have an open mouth painted on there with some little fangs that I do think are quite fun. I'm still just amazed by the inset eyes on this scale. Obviously a different color palette, so he has like white to a very light blue for the ears, and he has a gray tail here. I do like the hairstyle here. So it's like an asymmetrical bang, a little bit longer in the front. There's a little bit pulled up into a ponytail. He does also have a mic that's like clipped into the hair. That is fully removable. That does not have to be on there. So if you don't really like it, which I personally don't think that he needs it. Like, I don't really need him to be a singer. So I'll probably take it off, and I can, which is super duper nice. I love that that's an option that we have. When it comes to the shirt, I love this shirt in theory. Like, it's a really lovely sort of like satiny material. You know how sometimes like Mattel will use, other companies do too. Y'all know Mattel, listen, it's fair to harp on them. We'll use like a fabric that has this sheen to it, and it will just be the worst feeling nonsense you've ever experienced in your life. This is not bad. This is like genuinely really nice and soft, and I think you can even tell just by looking. Like, it looks better quality. It's a little floatier. It's super, super nice. The sleeves are really long. Like, his hand ends here, which is why I had it like bunched up like that, because like you can't, I mean, he doesn't have his hands on right now. We'll talk about why in a second. But like, you definitely can't even see it. I personally like the super exaggerated sleeves. Y'all know this. So whether they're scrunched up like this or if I have them just being super long, honestly, either way, I think that it like looks fine, and I think it looks pretty solid. I just really like this piece. I think it's really, really good. The piece underneath, unfortunately, I'm a little less excited about. This like goes on just as a necklace, this like little rib cage piece. I thought this was such a fun idea based on the stock photos, and then even like the art. Like, this looks so good. If it will focus, hello, there we go. I think it's super cool. It's just because it's just the necklace, it feels like it kind of bounces around. I'm sorry, I did not realize I was not in frame. My cat is meowing and demanding attention like behind the camera, so I'm trying to pay attention to her and this at the same time. But like, unless you have it very nicely confined by the shirt, it does tend to move around, and then like I feel like if you pose him a lot, it'll sort of shift. I just wish that it also had like a band that hooked around the rib cage, because I just think it would have made it a little bit more secure. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky, but I do think that that is a little bit of a missed opportunity, perhaps. Then when it comes to the pants, we've got two belt buckles here. They're just little like flare pants up until the bottom where you get this cut down the middle, and then these chains with some, little beads and like a star charm. I think all of that is super, super cute. Like, in a vacuum, I love these pants. But the reason that I specify in a vacuum, he has the same shoes as this first one did. These two have a different sculpt. And I don't dislike the shoes. I just, something about the way they look with this pant, I feel like it's maybe not quite right. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I don't know. Like, there's just something that I feel like it's not fully there. I don't really know. And then even if we like back him up a little bit, I don't know. Like, I like all these pieces individually, but I just don't know if I feel like they make sense together. Like, this shirt, I don't know that I feel like has the same vibes as these pants. And then like the skeleton situation across his chest, I think is so fun and so interesting. But I don't know, for some reason I feel like in the art and even in the stock photos, like I feel like it looked more together. I don't know why when I'm seeing him in person it just feels a little bit less like the necklace like skeleton situation goes with the shirt. Like, it feels a little bit more confusing, and I do think it feels a little bit jarring with like the pearls, quote unquote, down below. I don't know. I just feel like he's sort of jumbled. And then because we have the mic, it's like pop star. So we're giving like pop star, but also like sort of edgy, but also like sort of like vintage inspired looking, but also there's just a lot of vibes going on, I think, with him. So I really want to like him, and I like a lot of the pieces, but I don't know if I'm fully convinced. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and move on to our next lad here, who is going to be Marcelo. Is that how I pronounced it yesterday, or did I say Marcello? Marcelo? I think it's Marcelo. I've already apologized for my pronunciations. This one was my favorite based off of the like box and the stock photos and everything. And I do still think he's my favorite now. I just like enjoy the vibes. So he's got sort of a mullet situation. I do love the one strand that is sculpted to go over his shoulder. I think that's very cool. He's got real long, real like dramatic ears. He has this sweater piece that is like, you know, very cropped, and it's got like the wide armholes and everything. This is lined, so it's got like 2 layers to it. This in person is like more of a gray layer than a beige layer. I feel like it looks a little bit more beige on camera, but right here, that is in fact the underlayer, not his skin, which I do think is really nice because some black fabrics on dolls have a tendency to stain. And when I unboxed this, I definitely was like, ooh, I feel like that could be dangerous. And it doesn't necessarily matter as much for me for like this style of doll because I buy them to have them look like this, like come in their stock outfit, right? Like I'm not buying them to redress them, but I know other people are. And so it was like, ooh, that could be a problem. Like that could be a staining issue. But I like that there's a second layer because I feel like that might help mitigate that problem. If I go ahead and pull his jacket up a little bit more, we can see he's got the buckles on the sleeves. He's got like this little shoulder charm here and a little chain. I do like how he's like displayed in the art where it's kind of down because I feel like it draws more attention to the shirt and the collar, which we're going to get to in a second. So sadly, I don't really get to enjoy this, but I do like that it's at least there. He has a little black tail poking out from the pants. This one is a little tighter because as you can see, like compared to our first boy, for example, the pants are significantly lower waisted. They sit more at the hip versus like at the waist proper, like this guy did. So the tail is like a little bit tighter in there, but there is still extra room for it. Like it's, you kind of just have to finagle it a little bit. Collar, I should probably get to the collar. So this is plastic here, the choker that goes around his neck, and then there is a chain, and then there's this little like faux leather like lead, so he can be led on the collar. And listen, I'm kind of a freak. I kind of like that. I think that's really fun and like just a little like sassy, a little bit edgy. I'm vibing with it. I thought that that was like a fun little thing that he's got a whole collar on, like a literal collar on. I mean, he's a dog. They're all dogs, but he has a collar, and I think that's fun. He's got the belt, a chain, like a second loop of the belt, and then the printing on these pants. I will say, oh no, it's not this one I'm thinking of. It's the next one. They both have printed pants, and so I thought it was these, and I was like, oh, is this the worst fabric? No, this is not the fabric that I was thinking of. These are pretty solid. There is like a little hint of sound to it, but I actually think that they're double layered. Like I feel like I can feel a secondary layer in there, and it definitely doesn't feel like super duper cheapy. This is the separate shoe mold, more of like a loafer than a boot. I don't necessarily think that it goes, but I will say that his pants are long enough to where it just ends up being like a shoe. If the pants were shorter and you saw this, I think that would be ridiculous. Like, but you can't see it, so it's fine. We can just let him exist. So he was pretty much a straight up win. Like, no notes. I really like this one. He is certainly my favorite, as I expected him to be. Unfortunately, we did save the worst for last. So now we're going to be taking a look at Frederico. The art's still really pretty. Just there were some mishaps with him. So the reason that the other boys don't have their hands on is so that I can like show you very clearly the way that they're organized. He's got his wrist joint, and there's like a little peg there. And then the hands have a hole in them. Peg goes into the hole. Pretty self-explanatory. Unfortunately, whilst I was trying to put together Frederico's outfit, I did have to take his hands off, and you see how there's no peg there? And then if you look at this hand, you see how there's no hole? The peg like straight up broke off into his hand, which was really, really disappointing. I don't feel comfortable saying 100% that that's a defect because it's like, yeah, it could be, but it also could just be that like I grabbed it wrong because my hands are weak. So I was, you know, maybe doing a little too much or maybe at like the wrong angle. I will say if you get these, be careful because clearly they can break. I'm just not going to go so far as to like condemn them because it's one of those things where, you know, three of them were perfectly fine. I didn't end up putting the hands back on these because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a different hand besides the default, and I was scared of breaking another one. So that's why I left them on also so that I could like I said, demonstrate how they're supposed to look. But I did have three where the hands came off perfectly fine. So I don't necessarily want to be like, oh my God, these are shitty quality. Like this is a huge defect. This is a huge problem because I don't think that's entirely fair because it could be a fluke, it could be me, but also I do feel like I need to warn you all that if you get these, just take extra care because there is the possibility that the hand could just decide to straight up break off. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. There are some other things about him that I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know what to do with him now. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with him. Like I could just glue the hand on and he could just be like a little more broken. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out in a minute. But I do have to show you two quick things. He does come with this plastic silver snake that like wraps around his shoulder. It does lay fine. Like I'll show you, it lays fine. I honestly just like now that I said that, it's not gonna like do it. There we go. Kind of like peeks over his shoulder. I think this is fine. I do think it's like weird for him to have a secondary snake theme when he's a dog and none of the other ones have like another animal. Maybe I'm just being picky though. And then he also came with this little string of beads. I did try and it does fit on the neck. It doesn't look super with his outfit because he's already got such like a thick collar, so it looked kind of silly with this. In the art, he's just depicted holding the beads. So, and they're definitely too big for this scale to be a bracelet. But it is nice that there's like a real string of beads, you know, like I just kind of don't know what to do with them. Anyway, though, looking at the actual doll, he's got sort of a more relaxed, very neutral expression, some pointy ears. They're black on the back. His tail is black but pointed, or pointed, oh my God, white at the tip there. So his outfit does consist of three pieces. This belt is separate and it has like the leather strap across and it has the gold chains, which I think is super nice. The shirt is like so good. It's so good in terms of quality. Like the feeling of it is it's like it's such nice like thick fabric, you know, for doll fabric. I'm not saying it's like the most luxurious thing in the world, but for doll fabric it does feel really, really solid. It's got this brocade to it. There's some like embroidered little details there. This part I believe is printed on. It feels printed on, but like this part is actual 3D like string on there, which is super nice. The pants, unfortunately, this is what I was thinking of. These are like, they still feel like they're double lined, but this is just definitely by far the worst fabric out of all of these. Like I was praising the shirt here because it's satiny, silky, shiny, but it feels really nice. And this is this, like it's a similar finish, I guess, but it does not behave the same, even to the extent like this has been scrunched up and there's like hardly any wrinkles. And it, you know, it was scrunched up all night. I dressed these and then was like, I don't have the energy to finish filming. I'll do that tomorrow. And he's got like a fold line here. Like it's just, they're a lot cheaper and it makes me really sad because like all the other pieces are really solid. This still isn't quite as bad as like some stuff that you'll get on Playline dolls, but I definitely feel like most of the budget had to go to this and this. As far as the clothing, like the top half is really good quality. This is just like a little bit iffier, and then he has those same sort of like loafer shoes. So that's all the boys. This one definitely started out, I feel like, really strong and then went like a little downhill. That's not, again, necessarily the fault of them. I do think once I broke the hand, it was a little harder to like keep myself upbeat and positive. And I do just think like the styling on this one is maybe a little messy, so I might finagle with him to try to figure something out. That being said, though, I do think that these two specifically are really genuinely such good quality. And like if you like the styling on that, that's a subjective thing. He's very quality as well. Like I can't complain. This one, it's just the pants that were bad quality. So like maybe I'm being a little bit too negative. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Maybe the hand thing just really messed me up and like really disappointed me. I don't know. But I will say Tony's excited about this one. I'm excited about this guy. I'm excited to play around with him and see if like even just taking off his mic might make me feel a lot better about what's going on with him. So we'll find out, I suppose, but those are all of my thoughts on the past in Sicily.
Okay, just a very minor update. It is again the next day, but I just wanted to like share that I was able to switch these two around a bit and really, really enjoy them. Please ignore him. He's just on his little leash. But so I switched the hairstyles for these two dolls. I did end up taking off this chest piece. As cool as it is, I think it just added some bulk, and I think he does look better just like with the open chest. I think that's a lot better for this one. So like the dark hair, darker ears, and open chest. Immediately I was like, okay, now I can get behind it. Obviously, no mic. The mic also, whatever. The focus doesn't really matter. The mic also had to go. But I do think I like him a lot more now. And I think just removing the mic and the chest piece helped me feel like his outfit was a little bit more cohesive. And then I obviously, since I switched the hair, he has the lighter hair. I feel like it matches so much better because it like matches the stuff on his shirt. I don't know. I think that really works for him. I did get rid of the like dog elements. I was just like, I think he's okay. I also took off the belt. The belt is a really genuinely, come on, there we go. It's a gorgeous piece. But I do just sort of like for like this new character with like the hair swapped and like the ponytail and everything. I don't know. I thought having a little stripe of skin just sort of worked better. And I did, glue on his one hand. But I'm definitely feeling a lot more excited about them now that I've made some little alterations and sort of like restyled them a little bit to be more my own. So I did just want to put that in because I know that like yesterday when I finished filming, the ending was like a little melancholic, you might say. But I'm definitely much more excited now.
I would say when it comes to whether they're worth the price, like I do understand that $28.99 is a lot. I feel like I always say in these videos that if you would be happy with any of them, that's a different situation than if you only want one. If the only one that you like is this, then obviously I'm going to be like, maybe, at that point I would be like, see if they have it listed as like you can buy a specific one or buy it secondhand so that you know what you're getting. If you like all of these though, I genuinely do think that you won't be disappointed. Like I said, I have like my qualms with his pants and I did have an issue with his hand, but the top and the belt are such good quality that I do feel like I can't be too mad. And these three are really, really solid quality. So I do think for blind box dolls, like for the mobility and everything they have, for the detail that they have, the metal accessories, like that is really impressive that they all have some sort of metal on them, like whether it's the chains and like the loops or the charms or like his little situation. Like that is really genuinely nice. So I think that if you would be happy with any of these, then it is worth the price. But like if you only, only love one, that's kind of just a blind box philosophy, right? Maybe don't get it if you would only love one and you're going to be viciously disappointed if you get the others. But yeah, I think generally speaking, I sort of had a bad experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you would. And I do think if I try to be more objective about it, these are a pretty solid quality. Like he's the worst, and even him is still pretty solid quality. So that is my final ruling on these. Once again, I would like to say thank you to kikagoods for sending these to me for free. I forgot to mention in the intro, I'll probably like edit it in there, but I do have a code with kikagoods. So if you go on the website and you use code fairytale10, you will get 10% off your entire purchase. It's not an affiliate code. I don't make anything from that. It's just like, if you want to use the discount, you can use it. I don't know if these are going to end up being linked in the video, but if they are, that link will be an affiliate link, like the YouTube shop link, that will be an affiliate link. So if you decide to click on them, if they are able to be linked in the video via that link, then it will, earn a small commission for me. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but just in the interest of full disclosure, I think that's everything we needed to say. Please let me know your thoughts on these guys in the comments down below. Let me know who is your favorite. Do you have any of these already? All of that super fun stuff, but I'm done for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, your night, or wherever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.